Peace and blessings, y'all. On your way in, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. Gonna go into a Umar clip where dude actually made sense. In fact, I agree 100% with him, and he said something that, caused Tariq Nasheed to get all up in his feelings, and he decided to take the earrings off and go after him. And, we're just gonna listen to the clip and we'll comment on it afterwards, but just from this clip alone, there's nothing that Umar said that I disagree with. But we'll talk about it in a second. Let's go.
Africans, my Caribbean Africans, my Australian Africans, my Asian Africans, my South Pacific Africans, we are one family. We are one family. We are one family. Don't let nobody come to you with no fake movement talking about they only for black folks and we was already here. Nigga, you was here, but you came from Africa. You was already here, but you came from Africa. Stop lying about the origin of our people. We not for no division. We not for no division. We one family. You understand? We rise together. We go down together. Africans for everybody. It's one race, one family, one people. It's no other way we gonna push this. We are a global family, brothers and sisters, period. And anybody come with any African-American tribalism, you got these fake-ass scholars who ain't done nothing but stole all my information, creating these fraudulent movements to separate black people. Leave that nonsense alone. We are one family, brothers and sisters. You don't let your experience with the white man define your identity. You don't let your experience with the white man define your identity. You a damn fool. How you going to let trauma dictate your identity? That's ridiculous. How are you going to let a psychological trauma inflicted upon your eternal enemy dictate your identity? That's like a woman being raped saying, I'm going to identify with my rapist. That's like somebody being robbed saying, I'm going to identify with the person who robbed me. That don't make no damn sense. Somebody being murdered and I'm going to identify with the murderer. That don't make no damn sense. You don't come and tell me that white supremacy, I'm going to identify with what white supremacy did to me. I'm going to identify with what white supremacy did to me. That don't make no damn sense. What was you before you encountered the white man? What was you before slavery? Huh? What was you and where was you before 1526 and 1586 and 1518? Because if you telling me you only go back to the 1500s, bruh, you not that old. You are not an ancient people. If you're telling me you go back to the 1500s, which is the 16th century, you are not an ancient people. Okay, that's only 500 years ago. Columbus sailed in 1492. So if you telling me you're not older than Columbus, we got a problem. If you telling me you're not older than Columbus, we got a problem. I'm an African. You hear me? I'm an African. I'm not an Africant. I'm an African. I'm not an Africant. That's why we need the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. That's why we need the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. All these fraudulent movements popping up, teaching our young people to hate brothers and sisters who come from the same place your ass come from. You don't let slavery define your identity. You don't let a psychological, spiritual, social, political, economic trauma define your identity, brothers and sisters. Black power. One race, one people, one nation. One race, one family, one people. We not playing. We all Africans all over. We all Africans all over. We all African all over. 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. Please donate to the school. Please donate to the school. These bills are in the hundreds of thousands. Get on your Cash App, $.
He had to go back to asking for money, of course. Had to go back to that Cash App, didn't he? Shout out to Haven Bullets for the link, and go subscribe to his site. He is always on these guys' necks, and the link to the whole response. I'm not even gonna play the whole response, and other people have been playing it, but obviously Tariq got wind of this, and he, in came the jokes and all the bullshit, and I'm sure his followers laughed at it and joked and whatever, blah blah blah. Because Tariq can't debate, and the fact is, if Umar just cleaned himself up a little bit and just got off this bullshit school, because keep in mind, listen, the school is, don't get it twisted. The school is still bullshit. The school's still a scam. Umar's still a clown, but like I said, sometimes he'll say something and he'll hit the nail right on the head. All right, and obviously Tariq wants nothing to do with the debate with this dude, and everything he said was right. I mean, Tariq basically steals content. Most of what Tariq is saying, he stole it from Umar. That he's right on. That he's 100% correct on. All right, so I'll give Umar credit when it's due, but Tariq said some interesting things. Like, for example, he said the Portuguese wiped out Africa. They basically wiped out Africa, and that's the fact. But see, let me ask you a question. Did he mention that in Hidden Colors? Did he mention that the Portuguese just wiped out Africa in Hidden Colors, or that wouldn't work with the hustle that everything came from Africa and black people? That would be in direct conflict with the hustle at the time. Now the hustle is black Americans, and we're foundational black Americans. So obviously that conflicts with that hustle. So now you got to switch it up. All right. In fact, I'm telling you to go to Haven Bullet's site because he has another clip of Tariq actually changing the definition of what FBA means. This is all just a money hustle, but that never came up in Hidden Colors, not in all 4 or 5 or whatever editions it is. And I've already given my opinion of what I think about the whole Hidden Colors series. But the word that stuck out was practicality. Tariq said, we just want things that are practical. That's all. We just need practical at this point. So you've been oppressed for over 400-500 years and counting. And instead of something big like I mentioned before about quadrillions, and people said that's out of the question, that's crazy, blah, blah, blah. So this is a universal thing regarding your reparation. You just want something practical. My question is this. The people who run this planet right now, all right? Let's face it, the person who runs the planet right now is the Caucasoid, who came from the Caucasus Mountains, cavernous areas, all right? Or I should say, crawled out of that area. Not eating raw meat, dragging their women by the ears, taking their, basically not knowing where to use the bathroom, whatever. What would have been practical for them? Here you are, you built this country with your blood, sweat, and tears for no pay. Those guys came out of that area. What would have been practical for them? Walking upright would have been practical for them. Eating cooked food would have been practical for them. Combing their hair, just basically sanitation will be practical for them. Daylight will be practical for them. Fire will be practical for them. But here we are. Look around at the empire that's been built. You're talking about Wakanda is imaginary. The Caucasoid literally has their own Wakanda that you built for free. That they own and they control. And if they don't own it, they have a hand in just about everything on this planet. Their tentacles are wrapped all around this planet. Some of these guys own islands. Some of them literally own cities. Now they're looking at getting a space force. Some of them are looking to buy planets. And they have stolen, it is a fact that they've stolen everything that they have, from culture to identity. They've stolen everything. They're not looking for practicality. Here you are, for all your free labor, you just want a little practicality. Just make me whole, that's it. Tariq himself said, just give me $1 million. I know what to do with it. $1 million is not. Umar showed you $1 million and he raised damn near $2 million plus dollars. But all you want is practicality. So what I find, one thing about this whole saga, right? This new beef with Tariq and Umar, I really want to watch. I'm just to switch gears here. What I really hope, I want to see after this roasting that Umar did on Umar. I'm sorry, that Tariq did on Umar. Will Umar attack him back? Will Umar respond? Because this is now I want to see what the Umarians, the alpha male crew, how are you going to respond to this? Because you're all over people that, this is what bullies are. You're all over people who you think you can take. You take the Reverend out of Kansas, you think he's weak. You're going after Lennon Honor, you think he's weak. You're going after the woman. It's just the same bully tactics that Umar does because you want to be like Umar. But here's somebody in Tariq who is a force on the internet. Now, if you've been paying attention, and I know you have, Lennon is trying to move away from the Umar stuff. I know you got the bullshit shockumentary that, it's not even a shockumentary. You just basically put it on there to get hits, and, you guys are still rolling with the nonsense. I haven't seen, it's funny, you haven't brought any of his so-called paramours out there because you're embarrassing yourself at this point. But since you like to attack people for being gay, here's what I'm going to do for you. Because Lennon's trying to move away from the Umar stuff. But what if Tariq, who has a habit of grabbing other people's content, he did it with the Grandmaster Jay shit. I mean, he was down with Grandmaster Jay at first. Then he heard other people's content and he decided to go another lane. Because that's what he always does. Well, the Umar shit is kind of reached to a high level. What if he decides to ride that wave? He's a much bigger platform than Lennon Honor. And he hates Umar. And Umar may decide to flip out, call him homo or this or that. What if he decides to pound on Umar? And you know how petty he gets. But the thing is, a lot of these Umarians, a lot of these circle jerk crew who deride Umar, they also deride Tariq as well. They think these guys are, they got the information, and really, at the end of the day, they really don't read shit, but, they follow these dudes, and they think they're gods. So, at the end of the day, I guess you can only juggle so many, you can only deride so many people, right? So, it'll be interesting to see what these guys do in this situation. Who are they going to ride for? All right, has Umar cut you guys off, and now you're just going to ride with Tariq? I mean, I just want to see how this turns out. But you know what? Anyone who attacks Umar is gay, right? Or they have gay tendencies? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave a couple of links down in the description. Maybe this will help you out a bit. They just had some dude had a recent video of Tariq basically talking about some gay shit like he always does. But he kind of slipped up. He talked about how he ran into a couple of gay thugs in a part of D.C. where it's not the hood. There's no gay thugs, black gay thugs around there. It was basically a white, lily white area that has a lot of gay people around there. So Tariq may have in fact been telling himself, and this is not new. Other people have accused Tariq of being, maybe playing both sides. All right, I remember when the Andrew Gillum scandal happened, and Tariq immediately jumped on it. And, well, I mean, what is there to say about Andrew Gillum? I mean, he basically went on a bender with a male prostitute in a Miami hotel. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, you don't have to be a genius to find out what happened. But what Tariq did, Tariq found out who the guy was, the escort was, and on his Twitter timeline, he posts a picture of this escort posing on the beach beer butt with nothing but sand on his ass cheeks. I mean, what's the purpose of doing that? So if you go through this dude's timeline, it almost looks like a virtual gay bar. So if you want to, my point is, if you want to use that against someone who's attacking your daddy, well, I'm going to give you a head start. And I would download that shit too, because Tariq has a habit of flagging shit. So you may want to have a couple of, you can just download it just so you can have some rounds to shoot off in case he decides to attack. But let's see what you do. Let's see what you do. You can stick with the fake scandal of a dude who's not even coming after you personally, all right, and where you just looking like a damn male groupie, or you can really buck up and get into battle with some real shit. I mean, you didn't show up at the fake protest for whatever reason you didn't want to show up. So now this is a battle that you can engage in. All right, let Poetic Flacco start making stuff about Tariq, and start. You said you ready for the fuckery, right? This is fuckery you can get started with. Let's see what happens with it. But yeah, Umar was correct on this. Both of these guys are bullshit. The FBA is bullshit. The school, the FDMG is bullshit. All of it is bullshit. Tariq even mentioned about, certain people were FBA, Frederick Douglass and Ida B. Well, those two aren't FBA. I've said that in the other video. All right, it's a bullshit group. I mean, it's just basically two hustlers who are bucking heads. But let's see. I just want to see whose side you get on and how this plays out. So, peace out. That's all I got to say. Like, share, subscribe, and big up on yourself.